What's going on, guys? ZombifiedGamer here. Welcome back to Murdered Soul Suspect. Ashes to ashes.
Salem wasn't the most exciting place for a couple of rambunctious 13-year-olds. And playing with my friends after school, they usually required a healthy dose of imagination to spice up the underwhelmingly bleak landscape. To us, Salem's history was just a bunch of creepy stories and tourist attractions. Witches didn't exist, we all knew that. That's why Robbie Barnes was the laughingstock of the entire school. He actually believed that they were real. Looking back, I wish I hadn't teased him so much. Maybe then he'd still be alive. I forget which one of my friends actually came up with a plan to prank Robbie, but it didn't take him long to get us all on board. My job was to find an example of an old spell. It took me all of 15 minutes. And the library had practically every book ever written on the subject. The next step involved the Judgment House. It sat up on the hill, abandoned. Everyone said it was haunted. What made it even creepier were the rumors that Judge Hawthorne burned the remains of accused witches in the house's various fireplaces. That's where Robbie comes in. We dared him to sneak into the Judgment House in the middle of the night and collect a handful of ashes from each of the fireplaces. Then he'd have to light some candles, sprinkle the ashes, and read the spell. We told him that if done correctly, the spell would supposedly blow out all the candles. If he agreed to do all this and the candles so much as flickered, we would promise to stop making fun of him. We could see that he was scared, but to his credit, he agreed to go through with it. What we didn't tell him was that we had set up a hidden camera to catch all the hilarity on tape. The next day, Robbie didn't come into school. We assumed he had chickened out and was too embarrassed to face the music. Then I heard that Robbie went missing. I felt the chill run down my spine as I retrieved the tape from our hidden camera. I pressed play and fast forward until I saw Robbie. He was doing just as we instructed him to. But then, a shadowy figure crossed in front of the camera. Robbie turned in horror just as the camera cut to static. When the image finally returned, Robbie was gone. And the only sign that anything had happened at all was the now smoldering fireplace over in the corner.
Eternal flame.
I've all seen them by the side of the road. These unkept, smudged, hopeless people holding cardboard signs. Sometimes they have props. Baby stroller, a pet, gasoline can. Something to lend credence to the thin fiction that they need money for something other than booze. It was a man with a need gas sign with the red gas can on the ground that I saw when I drove into Salem 6 unlucky years ago today. Tried to ignore him, not making eye contact, but I was stuck at a red light and pretending he wasn't there was getting really awkward. So I reached into my pocket and pulled out $2, rolling down my window just a crack. Here you go, buddy. I pushed the money through the opening of the window. That was when, for the first time, I really looked at his face, or what was left of his face. It was a single eyeball just looking back at me, bulging out of a charred skull. I was absolutely frozen in terror until the blackened shape of uncovered finger bones reached out to take the money. And that's when I let it fall to the ground and slammed on the accelerator. I didn't even care that the light was red. In the time since then, I've picked up pieces of the legend. A shell-shocked war veteran, unemployable and alcoholic, became a familiar sight in Salem, begging by the roadside. Citizens stopped giving him money, thinking he would just move on to a bigger city. He responded by creating one of the most traumatic spectacles in town history. setting himself alight in the middle of town during evening rush hour. Ever since that roadside encounter, I've been seeing little wisps of flame out of the corner of my eye, like brief flashes that are gone as soon as I turn my head, sending nauseated chills through my whole body. Is this tormented spirit following me now? Whether he intends it as a blessing or a curse, I just want to be as far as possible from this horrifying specter.
Ronan's story.
There's one promise I never regretted. If only I could tell my younger self what I would become. What an ass. He was wrong even when he was right. No one made me smile like you did, Jules. Today, everything died for me. All those street brawls. It's amazing I lived as long as I did.
Rex's story.
I did this. I talked him into this. Becoming a cop. I was lying dead in the street because of me. You healed her, buddy. That sickness she carried in her brain, you made it tolerable. Well, I guess you must be together now.
Baxter's story.
Hey, Baxter, you still relying on that wizard lady?
You know I ain't into all that spiritual crap. But she's onto something. Results are results. You find a more reliable source, you let me know.
Cassandra's story.
I don't know how this will end. The killer is an enigma to the police and a lurking shadow in my own life. If only I can keep Joy from harm, I would do anything, even push her away, if it meant pushing her to safety. The form of each murder changes. The inner zeal is the same. This is why the killings seem random, unrelated. But the police can't see these connections. Except Officer Baxter. I can't say I trust him, but he's my only chance. This is nowhere near over. So many deaths, but likely many more yet to come. I can't help but believe this graveyard will only get more full. He's most likely a man of imposing size and stature. Someone who's accustomed to violence. Heinous acts in his past define him to the point where he no longer knows who he truly is. The vibrations I'm getting from this house are off the charts. It's like the museum. The old violence tries to take over the new. I have to tell Officer Baxter about this. This could be a vital piece.
Random encounters.
What happened? Field trip gone wrong?
No, no, no! Why'd you let the door shut behind you?
What are you talking about?
The door only opens from the outside. Now you're locked in here too. If I miss my classes or get caught trespassing, I could lose my scholarship. They need to let me out.
You mean that this isn't even yours?
Of course not. It's starting to creep me out, to tell the truth. This was just Kappa Delta Phi's idea of fun. I'm all for the tradition of hazing, but this has gone too far.
Just try the door again, only this time really put your shoulder into it. Trust me, when you get out, your classes will be the last thing you're thinking about.
Those parts aren't me. Where am I? Do you work here? Show some mercy.
I wish I could help, I'm sorry. Mind if I ask what happened?
What does it look like? I died.
Yeah, I can see that. I meant, how did you die? Autopsies aren't this thorough when the cause of death is cut and dry.
I don't know. A bunch of pills. Some were sleeping pills. It was supposed to be peaceful. I didn't know that you wake up. What am I supposed to do now?
I wish I knew, kid. I'll let you know if I figure it out myself.
Ness, what happened here? That looks like a baby down there.
Please help me. It's supposed to be dead. I can still feel growing inside me. It's trying to rip its way out.
Wait. You did this? You killed your own kid?
You don't understand. There was something wrong with it. It wasn't human. It was something else. Something darker.
What the hell are you talking about?
It showed me things. Horrible things. This was the only way to stop them from happening. But I was too late. They've already begun. I can see them crawling their way up from the flames. We have to run!
You can run all you want, but you'll never escape what you've done. You brought this on yourself.
You weren't there. You would have done the same thing. What difference does it make? We're all doomed.
What made us derail that day?
What were you in for?
It's too complicated to get into. Let's just say that I wasn't about to let some judge decide how to spend the rest of my life. That's my choice, so I made it. Either way, it doesn't matter now, does it?
If it didn't, you wouldn't still be here. Maybe I can help?
Nah, I appreciate it, but it looks like you got your own shit to deal with. I'll figure it out on my own. Always have. Thanks, though.
Hey, buddy. You on the clock or something?
I was. I worked here 10 years, until I couldn't take it anymore. And ate a gun. Some secrets are just too heavy to carry.
What exactly did you do?
Some landscaping. Mostly grave digging. Pretty much everything you'd expect a groundskeeper to do.
You know that's not what I meant.
Look, you were once a detective, and I was once a humble groundskeeper. Let's just leave it at that.
Fine by me, I was just trying to help. You seem a bit jumpy.
It sounds crazy, I know, but I've been seeing things I can't explain. Horrible, twisted things. I'm not even sure how I got here. I'm never drinking that much again.
Then why stick around?
I think there was a woman with me. Maybe my wife. Or my girlfriend. I can't remember much. It's all so hazy. I think I'm waiting for her.
You remember her here with you?
I think so. She leaned in to kiss me. Then the next moment she's screaming and reaching out for me. Then water. So much water.
I'm sure you'll see her again someday. Somewhere nicer than this.
Thanks.
Maybe I can help.
Damn it. What's wrong with this thing?
What do you mean? It seems to be doing its job just fine.
Its job is to let people know who I was, and I was not like this. Not this filthy. I was important and rich and clean. I knew the importance of keeping up appearances, which is why this just won't do. It needs to look better than all the others. Not like the rest of these freaks.
You'd be surprised.
Oh.
Help! This one is getting delirious again. I'm afraid he's gonna have another seizure.
Just comfort him as best you can. His internal organs are failing. He doesn't have long now.
I can't talk right now. Can't you see this man is in pain?
None of us have very long.
No one should end up like this.
I wish I could agree, but it's all my fault. I let people believe that I was something I'm not. They called me a war hero, but I was just a coward. For years I'd retell gruesome war stories of how I crushed the enemy. But they were just lies I told in exchange for free drinks at the bar. I never saw any combat.
Well, you pissed somebody off to get here.
He was going to expose me for the fraud I was. So I tried to kill him.
But he found out before you could do it.
He and some buddies dragged me out here and left me to die. No one ever came looking for me. Too ashamed, I suppose.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I've put away men a lot worse than you. So what was this place?
I don't know. I heard them say it was some kind of field hospital or something. Please, get me out of here. It's not what they say it is. Not with him here.
Who?
Dr. Trotter.
I don't understand. What do you mean this wasn't a hospital? What was it?
A slaughterhouse.
I wish I could help. I really do. I'm sorry.
You ain't scared. Yeah. Things that go bump in the night. Me.
I got a zombie army, and you can't harm me. Yeah, hoodoo, bitch. Drink blood like a vampire without warning. Hoodoo, bitch. Stand up. I grab your wife, better get out of sight. Voodoo, you voodoo, bitch. Let's